Have you ever realized you were living your life without truly being there? There are moments in life when everything seems to be moving, yet something inside us feels absent. We go through the day, we speak, we decide, we achieve, but later we pause and quietly wonder, where was I during all of that? Many people believe this feeling means something is wrong with them. But what if it doesn't? What if this quiet absence is not a failure, but an invitation to remember something deeply human? In this video, we will not ask you to fix your thoughts, control your emotions, or become someone new. Instead, we will gently explore what it means to stop leaving yourself behind and to come home to the awareness that has always been here. Welcome to Son.Mindfulness. This is a quiet space for reflection, understanding, and gentle wisdom for daily life. There is nothing you need to do while listening. Just allow these words to meet you where you are. Part 1. Walking through the day asleep. You arrive home and suddenly realize you don't remember the last 10 minutes. You parked the car, you unlocked the door, your body did everything it always does. But you were not there. Pause. This is not unusual. In fact, this may have happened today. You walk into a room and forget why you came. You read the same paragraph 3 times without absorbing a word. You speak to someone you love while your mind is already somewhere else. Life continues. Movements happen. Words are exchanged. And yet something essential is missing. Not broken, not damaged, just absent. Silence. Most people don't notice this absence. They are too busy correcting the surface of life, fixing problems, chasing improvement, managing emotions. But underneath all of that, there is a quieter tragedy happening. We are present everywhere except where we actually are. The body is here. The mind is elsewhere. And no one taught us to notice the gap. This state has a name in psychology. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network, the part of the brain that endlessly replays the past and rehearses the future. But long before science named it, the Buddha described it more simply. A mind that does not know it is thinking is a mind that forgets itself. Notice something gently without judgment. Right now, as you listen to these words, are you fully here? Or is part of you already preparing the next moment? Pause. There's nothing wrong if your attention drifts. This is not a failure. It is the human condition. From a very young age, we are trained to look outward. We learn to recognize faces, objects, threats, goals. We learn how to succeed, how to adapt, how to survive. But no one teaches us how to recognize the one who is doing all this looking. So we grow up highly educated about the world and strangely unfamiliar with ourselves. We know what we want. We know what we fear. We know what we dislike. But ask a quieter question. Who is aware of these wants? Who is noticing these fears? Who is watching this life unfold? Silence. Most suffering does not begin with pain. It begins with unnoticed absence. When you forget yourself, life feels rushed even when nothing urgent is happening. You feel tired without knowing why. You feel restless even in comfort, and you may start to believe that something in life needs to change. A new habit, a new relationship, a new understanding. But what if the real issue is not what is happening, but the fact that no one is fully here to witness it? Pause. This teaching does not ask you to fix anything. Not yet. It only asks you to notice one simple truth. Much of our life is lived on autopilot, and we call this normal. In the next part, we will look more closely at why the mind cannot see itself, and why this blindness is not a flaw but a doorway. For now, just rest here. Breathing happens. Listening happens. Awareness is already present. Nothing more is required. Part 2. Why the mind cannot see itself. Have you ever tried to look directly at your own eyes without using a mirror? No matter how hard you try, you cannot see them. Not because they are hidden, but because they are the ones doing the seeing. The mind is very much the same. It can analyze thoughts, it can judge emotions, it can remember the past and imagine the future. But when it tries to observe itself, it becomes strangely invisible. Pause. This is not a mistake of the mind. It is its nature. Just as a knife cannot cut itself and fire cannot burn itself, the thinking mind cannot easily recognize that it is thinking. So it looks outward. It looks at problems, it looks at other people, it looks for causes, explanations, solutions, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, it forgets the one thing it never learned to look at, the awareness in which all of this is happening. Silence. In ancient Buddhist teachings, the mind is often compared to a mirror. When the mirror is clean, everything appears clearly. But the mirror itself remains unnoticed. You don't admire the mirror. You admire the reflection. Likewise, when a thought arises, attention moves toward the thought. When an emotion appears, attention moves toward the emotion. Rarely does it rest as the space in which both appear. This is why suffering feels so personal. A thought arises, I am not enough. And without noticing, you don't just hear the thought, you become it. This is what psychology calls projection. We assume the voice in the mind is telling the truth about reality, about others, about ourselves. But projection is simply the mind mistaking its own movement for the world. Pause. Notice how easily this happens. Someone criticizes you and suddenly there is anger. But the anger feels justified, necessary, true. Someone ignores you and suddenly there is hurt. But the hurt feels personal, defining. In these moments, the mind is not seeing reality, it is seeing its own reflection and calling it the world. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." The Buddha expressed the same truth in far simpler words. Mind precedes all things. Mind leads them, mind shapes them, not as philosophy, as direct observation. Pause. Here is the subtle point most people miss. The problem is not that thoughts appear. Thoughts are natural. The problem is that awareness gets lost inside them. Like a person watching a movie and forgetting they are sitting in a theater. The screen fills the entire field of experience. The story feels real. The emotions feel urgent. But the seat, the room, the quiet observer are forgotten. This forgetting is what creates struggle. Not because life is wrong, but because the mirror no longer remembers itself as a mirror. For a moment, try this gently. Notice a thought as it arises. Don't analyze it. Don't change it. Just notice. A thought is happening. Pause. Now notice something even subtler. There is something that is aware of the thought. That awareness does not argue. It does not judge. It does not rush. It simply knows. This knowing does not need a mirror. It is the mirror. In the next part, we will explore the hidden cost of living identified with thoughts, and why saying "I am anxious" changes everything. For now, rest again in noticing. Thoughts move, sensations shift, awareness remains unmoving. Part 3. The quiet cost of forgetting yourself. There is a moment most people never notice. It happens quietly, without drama, without warning. A feeling arises and the mind speaks. I am anxious. I am angry. I am lost. When you say I am anxious, you don't just describe a feeling. You give it your name. Pause. Something subtle has just happened. An emotion that was meant to pass has been promoted to an identity. And once a feeling becomes who you are, it no longer needs to shout. It can stay. This is the hidden cost of forgetting yourself. Not pain, not difficulty, but identification. The mind was never designed to hold experiences without labels. Labeling is how it navigates the world. But when labeling turns inward, when thoughts begin to define the self, suffering quietly takes root. Notice how natural this feels. I am tired. I am behind. I am not enough. Each sentence feels harmless, even honest. Yet over time, these descriptions harden into conclusions. Pause. The body feels tension. The chest tightens, the breath shortens. But instead of meeting these sensations directly, the mind tells a story about them. And slowly, life becomes something you are reacting to rather than inhabiting. This is why the body can be sitting safely in a chair while the mind is fighting battles that no longer exist. You may recognize this. Your body is here, but your attention is replaying a conversation, rehearsing a response, defending a version of yourself. This is not weakness, this is conditioning. Psychology offers a gentle doorway out of this loop called cognitive diffusion. But the essence of it is very simple. Instead of asking, "How do I stop this thought?" you ask, "What happens if I don't step into it?" Pause. A thought appears, "I am anxious." Instead of believing it, instead of fighting it, you notice it as a movement, like a cloud passing through the sky. The sky does not argue with the cloud. It does not cling to it. It does not try to become clearer. It remains what it is. When you begin to see thoughts this way, something unexpected happens. The thought may still appear, the feeling may still visit, but it no longer owns you. This is not suppression. This is not denial. It is intimacy without fusion. And there is relief here, not because the mind becomes silent, but because you stop disappearing into it. Pause. Most suffering is not caused by experience itself, but by the belief that experience defines who we are. The moment that belief loosens, even slightly, space appears. And in that space, something ancient remembers itself. In the next part, we will explore a paradox that confuses many seekers. If the mind is the problem, how can the mind be the solution? For now, just notice this. Thoughts are happening, feelings are moving, and you are still here. Part 4. The Paradox of Healing. At some point on this path, a quiet confusion appears. If the mind is restless, if thoughts are tangled, if emotions feel overwhelming, how can the mind be used to heal the mind? This question stops many people. They try to do awareness. They try to practice presence. They try to hold mindfulness the way one holds a tool. And without realizing it, they turn healing into another task, another standard to meet, another way to fail. Pause. Listen carefully to this. Awareness is not something you create. It is what remains when you stop interfering. This changes everything. Mindfulness is not an achievement. It is not concentration perfected. It is not the absence of thought. In the Buddhist tradition, sati does not mean controlling the mind. It means remembering. Remembering to not push away. Remembering to not pull closer. Remembering to not argue with what is here. Pause. Notice what happens when you stop trying to fix your experience. A sensation arises, perhaps tension, perhaps discomfort. If you do nothing with it, no labeling, no resistance, no explanation, it begins to move on its own. Not because you forced it, but because all experiences are impermanent. Struggle freezes what would otherwise flow. This is the paradox. The more you try to heal, the more you tighten. The more you allow, the more healing happens by itself. Pause. Modern science calls this neuroplasticity. The brain reshapes itself based on how experience is met, not through effort alone, but through repeated, non-reactive observation. The Buddha pointed to this long ago. Suffering does not end by fighting the mind, but by understanding it without grasping. This understanding is not intellectual, it is embodied. It feels like space in the chest, like breath returning to the belly, like something finally being allowed to be as it is. Pause. Awareness does not say, "This should not be happening." It says, "This is happening." And in that simple honesty, the nervous system begins to soften. Not because life is suddenly perfect, but because nothing is being resisted. This is what absence of struggle feels like. Still alive, still human, but no longer at war. In the next part, we will explore how this allowing naturally reshapes the way you live. Not by withdrawal from the world, but by meeting it without losing yourself. For now, rest here. Nothing needs to change, nothing needs to improve. Awareness is already present. Part 5. Remembering yourself in daily life. When people hear about awakening or freedom, they often imagine retreating from life, leaving responsibilities behind, letting go of work, money, relationships, stepping away from the world to find peace. But forgetting yourself did not happen in a monastery, it happened in daily life. So remembering yourself must also happen there, not as a technique, not as a schedule, but as a natural realignment. What follows is not a method to master. It is a sequence of remembering that unfolds on its own when struggle softens. The first shift, a mind that regrets less. Before the mind can rest, it must feel safe with itself. When actions repeatedly violate your own deeper values, the mind cannot settle. It keeps replaying, justifying, defending. This is why in Buddhism, ethical living is not about morality in the moralistic sense. It is about reducing inner noise. When your words are mostly honest, when your actions are mostly kind, when your choices are mostly aligned, the mind has less to hide from itself. Not perfect, just sincere. This is not about being good, it is about being unfragmented. A mind that regrets less does not need to run as much. The second shift, letting the body lead you back. When identification loosens, attention naturally returns to the body, not as an object to control, but as a living anchor. Breath moves, sensation pulses, warmth, pressure, vibration. You do not need to focus intensely, you only need to notice gently. The body is always in the present. It cannot rehearse the future. It cannot rewrite the past. So when attention rests here, the mind follows. If anger arises, you do not ask why. You notice heat in the chest, tightness in the jaw, energy in the arms, and something remarkable happens. The emotion is felt without being acted out or pushed away. This is not suppression. This is contact. When feelings are fully felt, they complete themselves. They do not need to become identities. The third shift, living without being pulled apart. This is the shift many people fear. They believe that if they stop identifying, they will stop caring. That without tension, life will lose meaning. The opposite is true. When you are no longer consumed by thoughts, attention becomes available. You listen more fully. You respond more cleanly. You act without inner argument. You still work. You still plan. You still engage, but you are not carried away. Money is earned without defining your worth. Success is enjoyed without fear of loss. Failure is met without collapse. This is what non-attachment looks like in real life. Not indifference, but freedom from being owned. At some point you may notice something subtle. You are living your life, and yet you are also aware of living it. Thoughts appear, decisions happen, conversations unfold, and something in you remains still. Not distant, not detached, just present. This is not a special state. It is not mystical. It is what remains when you stop leaving yourself to follow every thought. You were never meant to disappear into the mind. The mind was meant to move within awareness. In the final part, we will return to the simplest truth of all. You have never been lost, only momentarily forgotten. For now, notice this quiet stability. Life is happening, and you are here to witness it. Part 6. Coming home. There is a gentle moment that sometimes arrives after a long season of searching. Not fireworks, not a revelation, just a quiet recognition. You were never truly far. You may have been distracted, you may have been overwhelmed, you may have lived years in your head, but awareness, the simple knowing of experience, never left. Pause. We often imagine the spiritual path as gaining something rare, a higher state, a new mind, a permanent calm. But what if the deepest peace is not something you achieve, but something you stop walking away from? Look closely. Even in anxiety, something knows anxiety is here. Even in grief, something knows grief is here. Even in confusion, something knows confusion is here. That knowing is not confused. It is not grieving. It is not anxious. It is simply present, quiet, open, unhurt. Pause. This is why the Buddha's path is sometimes described as remembering, not adding, not collecting. Remembering what was always true beneath every changing mood. The mind is like weather. Clouds move, storms pass, skies clear, but the sky does not need to be repaired. It only needs to be recognized. Pause. So if you have been trying to become better, try something softer. If you have been trying to fix yourself, try something kinder. If you have been trying to silence your mind, try simply not believing it so quickly. Just notice, breathing is happening, hearing is happening, this moment is happening, and you are here. Not as a story, not as a problem to solve, not as an identity to defend, just as awareness, knowing life. Pause. Sometimes the greatest freedom is not found in a new chapter of life, but in a new relationship to the chapter you are already in. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need perfect thoughts. You do not need a perfect past. You only need to stop abandoning the present in the name of an imagined future. Because the only place you can meet yourself is here and now. Pause. Let the final words be simple. Nothing new is required. Just don't leave what is already here. If these words touch something quiet in you, hold them gently, not as an idea, as a reminder. And if you forget again, that is okay. Forgetting is human, but remembering is always one breath away. May you be safe, may you be at peace, may you come home, again and again. Conclusion. Perhaps nothing in your life needs to change right now. Perhaps nothing needs to be understood more deeply. Maybe what matters most is simply remembering to be here. Throughout this time together, we did not search for answers. We only slowed down enough to notice what has always been present. Thoughts came and went. Feelings rose and softened. Life continued, just as it always does. And beneath it all, there was a quiet awareness that never left. You don't need to hold on to this moment. You don't need to remember every word. Just let this gentle noticing walk with you into the rest of your day. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me. If this reflection resonated with you, you are warmly invited to join us here at Son.Mindfulness. May you continue your days with calm, clarity, and good health. And may peace find you again and again.